Hey everybody, Corey here again. We are back with another deck video. Today we're doing the upgraded starter deck for the Micromons. So yesterday, or the previous video I should say, we did the Plagueis deck. This deck is also part Necro. Plagueis Necro is, you know, the element up here. Let me actually get one to show you. Necro. So Plagueis is mono Necro. Micromons come in every variety, all 6 elements. But this deck, we've focused on Terra, Earth basically, and Necro. So there's actually quite a few cards that you already saw in the previous video. Not a ton, but a couple of them that are in here. So again, this whole series assumes you can get 3 copies of all 3 of the starter decks. And I think this deck exemplifies that requirement, or that, not really a restriction, I guess, outline the most. There's a lot of cards from other starter decks in this deck, because out of the box, I think this deck actually was the weakest. It was going too many directions, including the face super rare. Well, not really the face, because this guy's on the box, but this is the super rare you get, because that guy's a rare. That guy's great, still in the deck. This dude is really good in theory. In gameplay, he was really slow, and the cards you need to put him into play via transformation aren't great. And also his elements, Plasma. I think that was the bigger thing, actually, was just the elements he has are not very conducive to Micromon. They work really good as Terra Necro, at least with this first set out. So yeah, let's just get right into it. I also laid out the cards a little differently, so I don't have to spend so much time flipping through them. So into the 0 drops, we have Krakoon. And this guy's kind of cool. What the heck is that? This guy's kind of cool. I'm not going to read all the cards. I'll just, you know, give my thoughts here or there, but there's plenty of time to pause and read what it does. He's not, like, incredibly strong or anything, but he's pretty reliable. This guy is, he's pretty good. Pretty solid, and there's an evolution over top of him, transformation rather, which probably should have uploaded the Drag Inked video first, because that's all about that mechanic, but anyway, I think I've mentioned it in some amount of video before, in a video before. So this card doesn't come in this deck innately, or normally. It only comes in the Necro starter, but you want to take all the copies out of there and put them all into here, because they're not very good in that deck. They are really good in this deck. Basically, he's a 1/3 pretty much all the time, because almost everything in your deck is an animal other than him, maybe a few other exceptions. But so yeah, on 0, 3 support's great. Also, he's both the colors of the deck, so he pays pretty much every hand cost. Fantastic in here. I'm not really sure why he was in the Necro deck. He gave them nothing. But that's the 0 drops for us. 1 drops. Got a few of these here. So this guy's the best, for sure. I'm not even going to try. I don't know how to pronounce that. Don't even have a guess. But he gets to search you 2 of the boss monsters. Labarto and Mascador. So yeah, he's really reliable. We run the full playset of him. I guess I should have said full playset of all the 0 drops. Yeah, I'll make a point to tell you how many of every card are in here. Okay, so this is 4-0. This dude's really good, but he's only reliable at getting this card in your hand, so we're only running 2 of him. But he's pretty good at doing that. And both of these guys, whatever, in 4-0 have, well, these actually, Labarto and Mascador. Labarto evolves over this guy, and Mascador evolves over this guy. So there's a lot of synergy with these cards in the deck. They're clearly meant to be max. Maybe you could run 3-4-0. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I think just 2 of him's fine. This one, definitely want to run 3 because you want to get as many of these as you can to your hand. They're super useful. The other 1-drop actually is one of the transformation pieces for that big boss monster. So like I mentioned before, it's just a colors thing why we're not running it. But this card's Necro, so it fits into the deck nicely. And it's also just really good. I'll read this one out. When it's put in play, while you control at least one other Micromon character, which should be pretty much always, target character your opponent controls with turn count 2 or less is exiled until end of turn. So yeah, pretty sweet. Just a great way of disrupting teams and turn count 2 or less. So I mean, you know, even into the late games, opponents are going to have probably a team with at least a 2-drop on it. So right there, fuck that whole team up. Get in. Good stats too. 2-2 healthy, 0-2 injured. What do we got here? 2 drops. So Arahelt? Arahelt. I'm not sure. When it's sent out to attack, you can exile target standby Micromon character you control. If you do, play it into your kingdom. Put it into play. So, repeatable blink here with Marival. Actually, Krakoon, the first guy I said you could pause and read, does somewhat similar shenanigans to Marival. So both of those are good blink targets. Were there any other ones that are good at being blinked? Oh yeah, 4-0 I guess, but not, again, he can only get 1 exact card, so not exactly crazy good blink. But, you know, card advantage, I suppose. Now it can only blink standby, so people not go into battle. But 2 of that card, because it's off color. This guy's on color, and he's that one that I mentioned evolves over Madarata, or Maderta. Yagador. At the end of your turn, draw 1 card for each of your opponent's characters that were exiled due to your effects this turn. Draw 1 card for each. Dang, this guy's pretty good. So, wow. Maybe run 3 of him? I'm not really seeing any drawbacks here. His stat line's fine. Pretty good, actually, for a 2-drop. His effect's really solid. Yeah, alright. We gotta speed it up. But I do want to read out the next 2 cards here. So this is your only 3-drop, just a full playset of Labarto. If he was put in play via transformation, just all your Micromon, himself included, have +1/+1. And that's a valid ability. King shit. This is just the card you want to be playing in this deck. He's on the box for a reason, baby. Actually, ironically enough, that's a different card that features him. That's really getting into it. Oh, one of them didn't make it. Next guy, Mascador. The other, like, cool boss monster of the deck. So he's the one that evolves over 4-0. Actually, though, I don't think his ability is dependent on evolution. It is not. Evolving is just a nifty benefit for him. So, attacker strategy, discard a Micromon character from your essence area, exile target character your opponent, just any character they control until the end of turn. That is, woo, yeah, solid card. Good shit. Alright, the last few cards here. So on 5, we run 2 Notocornia. I'm going to let you guys read it. That's a 3 in that ability box. It's pretty hard to read. Cost. But he summons one of these to the opponent's team. And we actually saw this in the other video, the previous one. But it's a good card. And I should mention his colors are both of the deck colors, so he's just a gold card, gold energy. Last card, only 2 of actually, Fascisco. And the reason we're not running so many top end is because you gotta make room for the 3 and 4 drop boss monsters somewhere, and I think it's better to cut at the top instead of at the bottom. You want to hit your lower drops consistently. But yeah, we saw Fascisco in the previous deck. Your masked characters can't receive damage due to the showdown. It's a fair bit of these guys are masked, but that's not the bigger part. he is a Micromon himself. So that's kind of why he's in here mostly, just to be a boss monster. But when your teams win any victory, move one of your opponent's battle rewards to your hand. Cool. Free card advantage. This deck is, I don't think I mentioned this yet, probably the most straightforward, most easily understood deck right out the box, because it's just play cards that have tribal synergy and they'll be good together. So weird split here. We're doing 12 strategy, 8 ability. Normally it's 10-10, but in this deck's case, there were very few abilities that were worth playing, and there were a lot of strategies that I liked. So this card's sick. It's a 0 drop, 1 hand cost, but it basically is a 5-0, 5-0 healthy or injured, and it just can't be sent out to attack. So it's a really solid free blocker early on. I think it might even be a Micromon. Yes, it is a Micromon. So, yeah, very strong card. My Chronic Hatchling. Search your deck for a character with turn cost 2 or less. Move it to your hand at the end of turn. If you didn't play it, discard it. It's fine. This card's actually not as good as it looks. In a lot of card games, they'd be like, oh, that seems sick. It's okay. This right here, and we're going to talk about this probably again in the Cane Pirate deck. And actually, I might save my comments, my primary comments for there. But this comes out of the blue deck. You want to get 3 of this card. I'm calling it now. Any deck that's blue or, sorry, sea or terra, any deck that runs these 2 elements that can pay the hand cost down here, you should play 3 of this card. This is either the most busted or tied for the most busted card I've dealt with so far. Just playing with starter decks, mind you. This card's insane. There's very little comeback after your opponent drops this on you, and they drop it on turn 3. So, you know, get fucked, I guess. 2 Micromon Restraint. This card, target 1 Micromon in your essence or discard, and you deploy it. So it does count as your deployment for turn. You have to meet its hand cost and its turn cost. But, yeah. Just reanimation. Not that good. Frankly, this is kind of like in here just to fill out the requirement that I can only use starter deck cards. And then just a single copy of Call of the Crows, because we're not entirely Necro, but we do have enough where we can use this to tutor out our boss monsters. All the boss monsters, everything turn 3 and up is Necro. So this can get you any of them. Real quick for abilities, 3 of this guy here, Micromon Chomp. Just a good card. Nothing really else to say about it, just a solid card. Saw this in the previous, and you're probably going to see this in a lot of videos. Micromon Shield. This card is super good, super generic. And then 2 of this card, which comes from the Necro deck of all things, but there's more enchant combat attributes in here than there are in that deck, so it's kind of better in here, I think. But yeah, it's not great. The abilities are not that useful in this game, in this deck, or in this game in general. I found that they're kind of like whatever. The characters and the strategies are just so strong. This being a great argument for, like, this thing's disgusting, man. This video's run a little long. I'm gonna cut it off now.